Studies show that up to 70% of young people report feeling stuck, unmotivated, and I myself am included in this group of people because for the past 5 months, I think, I've not uploaded a single YouTube video, and that's because I've been in the biggest rut of my life. But in today's video, I want to share 4 things that have really worked for me and 4 things that I know can help you get out of your rut very quickly. The very first thing that you need to do is reconnect with your why. So the main reason why I stopped uploading YouTube videos is because I'm at a point in my life now where I've been so used to having a student life, and anyone that's been in university will tell you when you're a student, that type of lifestyle that you're living, you don't really have much responsibility aside from really just passing your studies, which I did. I graduated from the University of Leeds on July the 15th, and that was a great experience. But I remember as soon as I graduated and came off stage, once all the celebration was over, it sort of felt like an anticlimax because for so long I'd been building up to this moment of graduation, and your parents are happy, you get to post on LinkedIn. It all seems like a big celebration, but really deep down you feel like, okay, what's the next chapter in my life? Like, what next can I do? And for a long period of time, I disconnected from my why leading up to graduation simply because I just wanted to focus on getting the best grade possible. But when I mean reconnecting with your why, the reason why I got into content creation, the reason why I started making videos in the first place was because I fell in love with the art of storytelling. But somehow in the midst of the grind and pushing every single day, I lost sight of that. And I had a lot of reminders from friends asking why aren't you uploading YouTube videos? And it's quite hard to explain that you've disconnected from your why. But a very simple exercise that you guys can do that I actually did was actually start journaling again. I know a lot of people don't typically like to journal, but when you journal, quite a few things happen. You end up getting clarity of mind, and when you have clarity of mind, you can simply break down what type of things have been working for you the past few months, what things haven't been working for you, and you can find a way to sort of reconnect with your why. And that's the first step that I took. The second thing that I did was just acknowledging that I wasn't being lazy, but instead I was very burnt out. So when I look at my situation for the past 5 months, I realized that prior to my last upload, I felt like I was putting in a lot of effort into my videos, but again, I was chasing metrics, which was not the reason I got into YouTube in the first place. I got into YouTube in the first place was because, like I said before, I fell in love with storytelling, but I ended up chasing metrics such as views, and I would put a lot of effort into my videos. I was creating my own thumbnails, I was writing my own descriptions, I learned SEO, and every time I would put a project out there and feel like I'm not getting any views, it just felt like I'm doing all this work for pretty much nothing. But again, I had to take a layer back and just realize that that's not my reasoning, because I disconnected from my why. So I had to acknowledge that I wasn't being lazy, I was just very burnt out. And over the past few months, I've really had to reconsider why I got into the things that I got into and why it is that I have this YouTube channel and want to inspire you guys to document your own lives and become a better version of yourselves. And it was during this period that I was actually really hard on myself. I'm the type of person, just naturally, when I have high expectations and I don't reach those expectations, I beat myself up. But I beat myself up for a long period of time. And my partner had to remind me about this. She said, you take too long beating yourself up instead of actually doing something about it. And I realized that I wasn't giving myself time to actually heal and time to actually reevaluate why the things that I was doing weren't necessarily working. The third thing that I had to do was actually change my mindset. And I've actually spoken about this in previous videos, but this book by Dr. Carol Dweck, I'm not going to get into it too much. I've done a YouTube video about this that you can go and watch up here. But it is pretty much about the difference between having a growth and fixed mindset. So for a very long time, I was stuck in a cycle of pretty much just focusing on the goal of graduating university, completely neglecting the fact that I got into my whole growth mindset to begin with because I wanted to challenge myself in starting a YouTube channel, making content and inspiring people, but I completely lost sight of that. And the last thing that I had to do to completely get out of this whole rutful situation was just focus on one thing at a time. So very often I am the type of person to focus on many different things. And I think the big reason I actually got into this problem was because I ended up doom scrolling. Like I would literally notice myself doom scrolling TikTok and doom scrolling Instagram for a very long period of time. Like when I would go into my settings and look at my watch times, where you can view like how long you've been spending on certain apps, I found that I was on TikTok way too long. And that's because I was just doom scrolling, looking at other people's lives, comparing my life to their life, whether that was in the corporate or entrepreneurial world, I was always constantly comparing myself to other people. And when that happened, I pretty much would set many different tasks for myself to do, pretending like I'm being productive. But what ends up happening is that I end up doing none of those tasks because I always try and push all of them to perfection. So I had to take a moment to just slow down and focus on doing one thing at a time. And on that note of just taking things one step at a time, one thing that really helped me is that I realized that throughout my life, during periods of times where I had a significant amount of progress or I was able to achieve a goal that I really had to set for myself, it helped by building confidence within myself just by getting 3 things right during the day, whether that be physical, whether that be spiritual or academic, financially. It always helped if I was able to at least look at my diary and make sure that at least I do 3 things properly. And then over time, I would increase it to 4, to 5, to 6. So I completely lost sight of that. And now that I've started doing that again, I've been able to get back to just 1% better each day and then build on from there. And to end off, one thing that really helped me as well was just telling myself that I'm actually proud of myself. So just giving myself a tap on the back, because oftentimes when you do feel lonely, it just takes a small reminder just of how proud you are of yourself. Even if you haven't achieved anything significant, just reminding yourself that, you know what, I've come all this way and I've done all these tasks. I've overcome so many challenges to get to this point. I am still someone that can be proud of myself. So just remind yourself, whether that's keeping a journal and writing down things that you've achieved up until this point, or having people that love you remind you that, you know what, you actually are someone of value and you have done a lot of things to get to this point where you are now. So just remind yourself that you actually are proud of the work that you have put in. So I hope that really helps you guys. I'm pretty much looking to get back into YouTube properly now. And what I noticed was that in the past, I never had a consistent format. So my videos were all over the place. My formats were all over the place. So what I'm going to try to do differently now is actually stick to a consistent format, stick to a format that I can actually rely on, that I can just pretty much pick up the camera like this and just hit record and speak about the lessons that I've been going through in my life, because that's the reason why I got into this in the first place. So expect more videos in the future, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.